Hello and welcome to a summary and highlights of the Squadron 42 monthly report, going over what the Star Citizen single-player campaign devs have been working on over the last few weeks and what they're focused on now in June 2022. Gameplay Story spent May working through a mocap session that they had recorded in April. This allowed them to complete numerous small updates to various scenes, including some for chapters 1 and 5. A technically challenging scene involving two characters unloading crates from a spaceship was finished and is looking great in-game. They also delivered a substantial new scene for chapter 5 that features the player getting into an elevator. Finally, for Gameplay Story, incremental improvements were made to the walk and talk animations to keep the characters looking natural and feeling alive. The FPS team completed the layouts of 2 key chapters. Once implemented, they will be ready for final balancing and testing. Some of them also moved on to finalizing content for the next set of chapters ahead of the next quarter's goals. The Space and Dogfight team expanded their focus to the first half of the game, implementing recently completed and polished mechanics, with the aim being to have a large section of the game fully playable. The social design team continued ongoing tasks for implementing all in-game scenes. Narrative continued their in-depth level review from last month, including a moment-to-moment breakdown of a specific chapter to discuss any remaining narrative needs to support the latest gameplay. This included 2 revised puzzle scenarios and a tutorial sequence to account for possible hints and or dialogue support the player may need. The narrative team said, "One of the many challenges of game writing is to ensure we provide assistance when called for without spoiling the fun of the player solving the problems presented." They have some revised scripts that they've been finishing off, and they've got some placeholder audio that they've been putting in the games with stand-in performers. The design team will then place these properly in game and begin testing the level flow to make sure that's appropriate. Depending on feedback, additional revisions and adjustments may be needed. The team also dedicated time to further broadening some of the narrative collectibles that players will be rewarded with if they thoroughly explore various levels in game. Finally, the team worked to update the overall schedule in order to account for the recent script improvements and narrative adjustments, which is instrumental for the production team to ensure deadlines are properly projected. The VFX team continued to work closely with art and design teams. 2 larger levels received a cleanup VFX pass. VFX said, "This is good practice when a level has existed for a long time and has lots of older content. This basically brings a level up to date, ensuring there's no ugly or unoptimized effects in there still." They also continue to work on a highly complex destruction sequence, which is progressing well apparently. The VFX tech art team reviewed the gas cloud setup to ensure it's still functioning as expected and investigated cross-team options for in-game destruction. Let's move on to AI and character stuff. AI content's main focus was on adding background life to Shubin Station. Part of this involved motion capture actor performances for the commuter behaviour. They said, "We captured people patiently waiting for a tram to arrive and then getting frustrated when it didn't come on time, sleeping across benches and falling asleep in their seats. These are all things you might expect to see on a subway." They then wrapped up work on the arcade machines, which was reviewed to ensure the team were happy with the amount of animation variety. The main aim of this is to prevent the player from seeing any repeated animations. The next step is to hand the usable to the UI team for finishing touches, including on-screen visuals of games played, scoreboards, and game over screens. Bug fixing and feature work continued for the deck crew, with the team enabling the AI to interact with the Gladius's rear fuel port. Next month, they're aiming to add a pushable diagnostic cart and dynamic conversations to the behaviours. For the Vandal, AI features continued to refine and improve close combat and cat and mouse gameplay sections. They also utilised the recent mocap sessions to take existing blocker animations and add variety and detail, processing the results and integrating new animations into the existing gameplay. On the human combat side, the team worked with design to implement the new weapon accuracy system that will give greater control to designers, particularly over difficulty and playability. They're now looking to implement a more controllable accuracy system that takes into account various factors when working out if a shot is hit or misses, including distance to target, how long the target has been seen, the angle to the shooter, and the base accuracy of the AI that's firing. Once the decision to hit or miss has been taken, an appropriate firing direction will be chosen. This will give the designers much more flexibility ability to create engaging and enjoyable scenarios. For example, they can now select how likely off-screen NPCs are to hit the player, as being shot from off-screen isn't a fun experience. For human animation, the team continued to iterate on the pistol animation set using the overlap approach, which is already seeing benefits to memory, iteration time, and effort. AI tech worked on spaceship functionalities, including several improvements to quantum travel and quantum boost. Now ships can accelerate while spooling before the actual jump. This functionality was also exposed as an assignment for missions. The team cleaned up and activated several feature test maps into the main game dev stream. These maps were validated to ensure the team can better track features that might be impacted by the changes of different teams. For Subsumption, focus was on improving the usability of editing conversations or coordinated sub-activities. The internal representation of the GUID and super GUIDs was improved too. Building on last month's work, feedback was addressed regarding NPCs pushing trolleys. The team now have better control over what forces are applied to a trolley. For human combat, an initial skeleton of the defend area assignment was implemented to allow the designers to specify areas that NPCs can use for their behaviours. For example, guards will use this to understand which zone they should patrol. Collusion calculation was restored to stop NPCs from ignoring hidden enemies while shooting, which will help them preserve ammunition and prevent individual targets from being overly targeted unless fire control is forcing the shooting. The team also improved the friendly fire validation and can now assign different factions different behaviours. This includes bad guys only trying to preserve the life of their group, while good guys also trying to avoid hitting neutral factions like civilians. Several fixes to the usable code were added, including one causing NPCs to use usables that they were not authorized to use. They also extended the usable code to allow them to set up slotting functionalities throughout loadout entries, allowing them to access item ports not exposed directly in Dataforge. For example, setting up a Gladius as usable with varying inspection usables depending on whether missiles are equipped or not. The AI vehicle features team completed the Flight AI tool. This enables the developers to control and set up specific AI scenarios across various ships. They also are currently porting the new dive attack maneuver to Combat Pilot AI, which allows reckless and aggressive pilots fighting against capital ships to dynamically choose this maneuver when required. They also made changes to the way they apply the backwash thruster effect, as it was negatively affecting AI. Now it controls forces by the size of the ship's surfaces, so smaller ships have less of an impact on larger ships. The facial animation team spent the month making improvements to a number of Squadron 42 characters. The motion capture team shot scenes for level events alongside the story team. They also worked with gameplay teams on Vandal combat. They're currently working on various Vandal animations and rigs and mocap bits for that. There was some work on AI pistol animations. On the gameplay side, animation progressed with various social AI aspects, including beds, the chow line arcade machine assets, female characters sitting on bar stools, standing console updates, drinking in various usables, and more. AI locomotion progressed too, with the team testing overlays on the base cycles so NPCs appear to think about what they're doing rather than just move forward. R&D locomotion improvements continued, while custom locomotion fixes were made for certain named characters. They also progressed with 0G, heavy landings to ledges from jumps, and helmet usage. Character art spent May working on UEE Navy outfits and the Screaming Gallison armor. They're also working alongside the graphics team on the final version of the hair shader. Boom! That's it for your Squadron 42 update today. Unfortunately, we don't have anything more on sort of timelines for Squadron 42, release dates, anything like that yet. Hopefully we'll start to see some bits and bobs this year as they are trying to finish out Squadron 42. It's a major focus for Cloud Imperium. But what do you think? Are you excited by a load of this AI tech coming down to the persistent universe at some point as they sort of build more and more sensible, intelligent, and more fun AI and behaviours for them? Does Squadron 42 excite you more than Star Citizen's Persistent Universe does? Or are you much more in the camp of, you love Star Citizen, but you play Squadron 42 because it's part of the sort of game world and you can get unlocks effectively for doing that? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Hello,
it's me, the Queen. It's my Platinum Jubilee this year, and safety and security are paramount. Lots of people ask me why we need a Queen and NordVPN. I defend the world with my sceptre and crown, preventing those who do it harm from carrying out their evil deeds. Channeling the power of nordvpn.com/BoredGamer and my divine right, I can overcome any obstacle, and so can you, by using the links below to get great deals and better internet accessibility, security, and encryption acidity. I don't know what that word was that I was trying to say, but I am the Queen! I will never be defeated, just like nordvpn.com/BoredGamer.
That wasn't the Queen at all. It was me. It was BoredGamer. I've got to say this at the end, actually now, just in case someone says I'm impersonating the Queen. Tried to get her, but she was too busy. She says got like a busy weekend or something. Every month we have a ship giveaway. For June, we're giving away the newly released RSI Scorpius Heavy Fighter. This is a 2-seater X-Wing styled ship with a powerful loadout and a turret that can move from the top to the bottom of the ship, giving it a much better range of firing arcs. To be in for a chance of winning that, comment on any of my videos made during this month. More details in the description below. Please also consider supporting the channel by becoming a member with the join button under my videos, or becoming a Patreon, or even donating with a thanks button or donations in the descriptions below. Star Citizen is getting more and more flesh on its bones, and there's always news coming out, and we love to cover that, and we're only able to do that because of all of you watching and all the amazing people that go the extra mile, whether it's commenting, sharing our videos, chucking money at us or whatever. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great June. Please take care, and I'll see you in the verse.